Hey everyone, how you doing? You're watching this, then it's Wednesday evening. I'm midway through my first week of training. I'll tell you how that's going when I see you. Um, and we're here. We're going to look at something slightly different tonight, something which I think I'm hoping you'll find quite interesting. What I find amusing is I'm saying tonight, and it's obviously daylight. It makes it look like it's really bright and sunny out there. It's not. This is Thursday morning last week now, and it's blowing a gale and it's grey and miserable. I've got to go out in it in a bit, but hey, let's ignore that and let's crack on with today's session. So tonight we're going to explore something a little different. Most of us assume that the mind works in a very straightforward way. We imagine that information comes in from the world, and so I just was thinking about Susan and her orangey lemon or a lemony orange. So we imagine the information comes in from the world, the brain processes it, and then we experience reality. But modern neuroscience suggests something much more interesting is actually taking place. The brain is not primarily reacting to the world, it is constantly predicting the world. In other words, much of what we experience is not simply received from outside, it is constructed inside the mind. The brain continuously generates a model of what it expects to see, hear, feel, and experience. And then it compares that model with the incoming information. When the prediction is accurate, the brain barely notices the sensory data. When the prediction is wrong, the brain updates its model. So, in a very real sense, perception is not passive, it's active. It's a process of prediction. Some neuroscientists even describe perception as a controlled hallucination constrained by reality, which is quite a remarkable way of putting it. You can see this in everyday life. For example, if I was to write a sentence with letters missing, you can still read it. Your brain fills in the gaps. You don't consciously reconstruct the sentence. The brain predicts what should be there. Another example many people have experienced is the phantom phone vibration. You feel your phone vibrate in your pocket, you reach for it, and nothing's happened. Your brain predicted a notification and briefly created the sensation. Or think about seeing shapes in the cloud. There's no face in the cloud, but your brain is constantly predicting patterns. So it fills one in. And once you see it, once you see it, it becomes hard to unsee it. The same process happens with emotions. If you walk into a room expecting people to be unfriendly, the brain begins interpreting neutral signals as negative. If you expect warmth and friendliness, the same signals may be interpreted, almost can say that very differently. So, what we're saying, basically, expectation helps shape our experience. The mind is not simply responding to the world, it's constantly asking, what do I expect to happen next? And then it builds experience around that expectation. Most of the time, this process is helpful. It allows us to navigate the world efficiently, but it also means that our expectations can shape our experience more than we realize. And this leads to something interesting because if expectation can shape experience, then learning to work with expectation can change how experience unfolds. And this is one of the reasons suggestion and hypnosis can be so powerful. Hypnosis is not about, like we said last week, controlling the mind. It's about guiding expectation. When the brain begins expecting a certain experience, it naturally starts organizing perception around that expectation. So tonight we're going to explore this in a simple way, not by deeply analyzing it, but by experiencing it directly. We're going to take a short journey through imagination and imagination and awareness, and simply notice how the mind begins to organize experience around what it expects. And there's nothing you need to achieve, just notice what happens. So get yourself comfortable. You know the drill. Sit comfortable. Let your hands rest naturally. Let your body just settle in the chair or on the floor of the bed, wherever you are. And you can close your eyes if that's feeling comfortable. Or simply just soften your gaze, half-mast, so to speak, with the eyes, and just notice your breath. There's no need to control it. Just notice the rhythm of breathing. Inhale and exhale. Allow the body to just soften slightly with each breath. Nothing forced, just settling. Now imagine yourself standing in a quiet place. It may be a landscape you know or somewhere entirely new. There is open space around you. Notice the ground beneath your feet, the sense of the air, the quality of the light. There's no need to force details. Don't worry if you're not picturing it, if you're not seeing it like a movie. I'm just asking you to think about these things. Allow your mind to fill them in naturally. The mind is very good at creating environments. Exploring expectations. As you stand there, begin to notice something interesting. If you expect the colours around you to become richer, the mind may begin to deepen them. If you expect a breeze to move gently through the air, you may begin to sense that movement. If you imagine distant sounds, perhaps wind or water or birds, the mind may include these as well. Not because you're forcing anything, but because the mind naturally completes experience. Just notice how easily the mind participates. So now imagine walking slowly through this place. Each step relaxed, each movement natural. As you walk, the environment may respond subtly to your attention. When you look at something closely, it becomes clearer. When you listen, sounds become more defined. When you relax, the whole scene becomes softer. And this is simply the mind organizing experience around attention and expectation. And so now just pause a moment in this place. Take in the surroundings. Notice how the mind has constructed an environment that feels coherent. Light, space, movement, sound. All appearing naturally within awareness. And recognize something quietly interesting. This entire environment has appeared within the mind. Not forced, not manufactured, simply organized by expectation and attention. So now gently allow the landscape to soften, not disappearing, just fading slightly into the background. Notice the awareness that's been present the entire time. The awareness in which imagination unfolded, and the awareness that remains even as the imagery becomes quieter. There's nothing you need to change, just notice. Returning now slowly, allow attention to return to the body. Notice the breath again. Notice the chair beneath you, the bed, the floor. Notice the room around you, the sounds in the space, the feeling of the body sitting here. And when you're ready, open your eyes, have a stretch, feel good. So what we explored here was something very simple. The mind is constantly predicting the world. It fills in gaps. It anticipates patterns. It constructs experience. This ability is what allows us to imagine, create, plan, and navigate the world. But it also means that expectation quietly shapes perception. When we expect certain outcomes, the mind begins organizing experience around those expectations. Sometimes this happens in helpful ways, and sometimes it limits us. But becoming aware of the process gives us a little more freedom. Because once you see how expectation shapes experience, you can begin to notice the predictions your mind is making. You can ask yourself, what am I expecting right now? Is this expectation helpful? Is it accurate? Or is it simply a habit the mind has learned? And sometimes, by adjusting expectation even slightly, the entire quality of experience can change. Not through force, but through the quiet intelligence of the mind reorganizing itself. The same mind that can create a vivid landscape in your imagination can also reshape how it relates to the world around it. And sometimes the most interesting discoveries come simply from noticing how the mind works. So, I hope you've enjoyed this evening. A little bit different. Do watch it again, take in some of the ideas, play around with it. I've always said from the very early days, play with this stuff. Don't just intellectualize it. You just think about the processes of it. It's an interesting fact. It's only when you start putting these things, as you know, into practice that you really start to kind of discover how these things really work for you. So much love, many blessings. I will be back live on Monday evening. I look forward to that. Until then, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Take care.